Alright guys, so it's time for another update on the Biturbo. The things that I've done so far is I got pretty far along on the electrical system. I haven't been making a lot of videos because uh, my camera gear crapped out, so I'm actually filming these on my phone. It might even be better quality than the gear I had, to be honest with you. But I don't have a stand for the phone, so I'm gonna have to kind of get creative when I'm making these videos. In any case, let's get to the car and I can show you what I've done. Okay guys, so I'm just gonna walk through what I've done so far. First off, just a reminder, this car has a battery mounted in the trunk. I relocated it. It usually sits here. I had done that a long time ago, just to give some room in the engine bay, and also it was very tight in here, so it just gives me a lot more room to work with. Here is my bus bar for ground. I added this larger piece here. I think this is something I got either off of eBay or off of Amazon. Nothing special about it. I'll just take these covers out so you could see. But basically, you got 4 large terminals, and then you got I would say 6 small ones for all your grounding needs there. So this is where all the ground is gonna come instead of the battery. And then on this side of the engine, I have the same thing but for power. So this, this is the starter, that's the ECU, and fuse box. So this one's the fuse box. So all sorts of anything that needs power is going to come out of here, including my new relay blocks. So as you know, or don't know, all the fuses were there, and the wiring harness came this way, and then from there it spread out to all the lights, fans, air conditioner, blah blah blah. And my wiring harness was garbage, and you could see it. Just walk over. This is the wiring harness after I kind of like stripped it and identified each lead. It seems daunting, but it's doable. You just got to take your time, get yourself a label maker, label everything, and it's meticulous work, but it could be done. I'm not an electrician or electrical engineer by any means. I hate working with electrical, but it could be done. So if I could do it, you guys could do it. Okay guys, I just want to speak to you about this, what I've done here with these relay blocks. So basically, these relay blocks are they're pretty good quality for the price. I think these are about 30 bucks each, I believe, and they come with relays and fuses as well, actually, I believe. Yeah, I think they came with fuses. You could also buy it without relays and fuses, which I did. I bought one with and one without. But in any case, what this allows me to do is, instead of running these original Italia Mech fuses or relays that had the built-in fuse, it allows me to use a regular Bosch style relay. You just got to make sure you got the correct one where these 2 poles get triggered, not one or the other. So you got to make sure you got the right schematic here. So this one, let me turn this around. You see it switches from 87A and then to 87. You can't use these if you're gonna use all 5 terminals. If you're gonna use all 5 terminals, you need to use the one that has these 2 get switched on, not one or the other. Okay, but for things like a cooling fan, you could use these. It depends how you wire it, really. But so the biggest thing to know, even if you don't do this and you want to keep your relay blocks there, and you want to use Bosch style relays, the thing to know is that you need to they won't be fused, which might be a problem, but you need to understand that on Maseratis or Biturbos, this terminal here is usually the 30 where power goes in. On Biturbos, this is switched with 86. So on the Bosch style, you got the 30 here and the 86 there. On the Italian mech, they're switched. 30 is here and 86 is here, which that's I said this before. A lot of people go take this car to an electrician and they'll put a regular Bosch style relay there and screw your whole electrical system because you got power entering where it should exit and all sorts of issues could happen. Okay, so just want to showcase this here a little bit. So I have power coming from my bus bar to here, comes in here, distributes to these relay blocks. The power comes in to the fuse, and then from the fuse to each relay. So, you know, this one goes here, this one goes there, depends how you wire it underneath. These two yellow ones are spares, there's nothing here. But basically, that's how I did it on my car. So you don't need the relay with the built-in fuse because the fuses are here on the side. Also, I got these fuses. They're, let me show you what they look like. They're pretty cool. Like when they pop, the LED goes on. So if you think you have to check your fuses, you don't need to check one by one. You could just take off the covers, and if you see any of them glowing, you know that they need to be replaced or they popped. So the other thing is I had this custom aluminum plate made. What I did was I made myself a template out of plastic. I had a piece of ABS plastic and I basically just cut myself. I made a template, made sure that it worked, and then I had this laser cut out of aluminum, 1/4 inch thick. It's not heavy, but it's pretty strong. And I had Sen do that for me. And I also had them laser cut these brackets. So originally this is a mounting point for I think some of the injection and ignition coils or relays, and I had an aluminum plate made there. And on the ground side I had the same thing done, but out of stainless steel, because here you want it to have ground and contact the body, whereas in that situation you don't. So so that's basically what I wired up. Now I have the fans. So I have here I have the starter, fog light, the low beam and high beam on this block. Now the reason why I got two is because I needed, you know, my car had 7, so I needed to get an extra one just for that extra relay. But instead of filling one up and then starting with the next one, I kind of like split it up a little bit. And here I have the fans, and this one's for the air conditioner. Now the air conditioner one is this is the Bosch style that I was talking about. You can see the diagram there. So when the relay is activated, it switches on both 87s, 87, 87A. That's the kind you need to replace the Italian mech. That's how they function. These are different. These are connected to one pole and then switch to the other, but I'm not using the middle pole. I'm just using the one that gets powered when the relay gets triggered. And here's a combination of both also. So I used the Bosch style ones for all of the lights, and then the starter, you don't need that. You just need it to send power to one of the poles. So makes it a little bit more simpler. All right, so let's just start the car and get it out of the garage. I still haven't tested the fan relays, so I'm going to leave it running outside a little bit until it gets up to temperature to see if the fans kick on and everything's working correctly. I'm just I put my blinkers here just so they don't drag on the floor. Again, the wire management still needs to be completed. You know, everything's loose. I'm gonna, you know, make sure I secure all these wires that go to the fuse box. And again, this is still the old fuse box. I still have not updated it to that Biturbo box system. I want to make sure what's working, what's not working up to this point before I do that, so that I could figure out what issues were resolved by that and which ones weren't. So all right, so I just want to make sure that I don't have anything dragging, anything that could get sucked into the fans. Put the air filter back on, even though it's not tight, but all right, so let's get this out. Guys, while I'm waiting for this to heat up the temperature, I'm just gonna test my lights. So I'm gonna put the parking lights on first. So here is the side marker and the blinker. Blinker. Alright. Low beam. High beam. It's not working. Alright guys, it looks like I didn't even have that high beam connected on the left, plugged in I mean. So let's try it again. So high beams. And then can't obviously do it, but these are the, if I turn off the high beams, you can kind of see if I flash the high beams, they work. I don't know if you can see that. So when right now I only have the right fin, which is that one connected, and when it kicked on, it popped the fuse. So I think it's because I had a fuse that's too low. I had a 15 amp in there, so I switched it to a 20 to see if that works now or if it's gonna pop also. I think the Italian mech had a 30 amp fuse, so I'm trying to go up in small increments because I don't want to. Oh, there he goes, just kicked on. Right fan kicked on, right at just under 90 degrees. All right, guys, just want to show you what I mean about these fuses. See, that one popped and it's lighting up red. See? So this is one of those cool things about these fuses. You could identify the issue right away. Okay, guys, just one other thing. I made this system ground at the body, or at the appliance, let's say. For example, the way this car was wired from the factory, the thermo switch on the radiator, once activated, meaning that the coolant has reached the temperature which it triggers it to go off to kick on the fans, and it actually was connected to a 12-volt source. So once that switch was activated, it would send power to the relay, and then the relay would power it. But I simplify that system by having a power source that comes from the ignition, right? And then the trigger for the fans to kick on is actually the same thermal switch, but I grounded it instead of connecting it to power. So it grounds at the switch instead of getting power from the switch. And what it allows me to do is run power straight from the relay to both fans. So the one thing I haven't done, and I'm gonna do, is right now I only have it so one fan kicks on, which is the right one. And the right one, I believe, is the regular cooling one, and this one's the AC one. The fins are actually, they have different fins or blades on the cooling fan. This one has larger blades that are larger, but less of them. This one has more, but they're smaller. So this is for the air conditioner. What I'm going to do is I'm going to wire it so both fans kick on. That will allow it to cool faster and have them on for a less amount of time. Now there's going to be a bigger amperage draw, but I do have an upgraded alternator on this. It's not the original 65 amp alternator. I believe I have a 90 or 105 alternator, so I'm not too worried about that. Next is just to identify what's not working. Okay, so I've identified 3 things that don't work. The blinkers work, left and right. The hazards don't. When you hit the hazards, the relay or the flasher relay underneath the dashboard, it sounds like it's frying inside. So I thought maybe it was a bad flasher relay. I ordered a new one. So this is the original flasher relay. It's Sepia brand, made in Italy, and I bought this one. It's got the same exact circuitry, and when I replaced it with this, the blinkers worked fine, but still no hazards. So I think that's a problem stemming from the fuse box. Other thing that doesn't work is the washer fluid pump. It doesn't work. I mean, it's a pretty simple circuit. It just goes right to the fuse box. There's no relays for this, and again, no, does not work. And then the other thing is the air horn circuit. So the air horn's not installed, but basically this is a very simple circuit. You got 2 wires that come from the fuse box. One is a power source, and then the other one's a ground. Actually, the ground doesn't come from the fuse box. The ground just goes to body ground, which I have here, tied there to body ground. But the issue is this has 12 volts all the time. It doesn't get activated with the horn. So that's the other thing. So those are the 3 things I've identified as not functioning: the horn, the washer fluid pump, and the hazards. So now that I figured out it's not this on the hazards, it's got to be something with the fuse box. So I'm hoping these 3 issues kind of sort themselves out once I upgrade the fuse box. So that's it for this video. I know I talked a lot, sorry about that, but I think now it's just going to be a matter of buttoning up the little things. You know, I just wanted to be able to drive it on the road before the end of the year, before the weather gets too cold, and then come spring, we could start tackling the body and the paint work and all that stuff, as well as the interior. So again, well, thanks for watching, and I'll keep at it and get this baby back on the road. Thanks for watching.